Hey, we're back. We got round 2 coming up for this D&D playlist, so let's get fucking going tonight on the Midnight Chamber. Alright, Fiends. We left off with Blackmore's Night. So now, let us move on to...
Rhapsody.
Oh, God. Luca Torelli, eat my heart out.
Yeah, we're getting into from Blackmore's Night. We're getting into some more symphonic metal.
No. Epic symphonic power metal.
Yeah. I mean,
you have to say the whole title because the shit's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Of course, we're talking about indie metal, so we have to split hairs over what the genre, micro genre is called.
Vegan progressive grindcore. I'm just saying, like, metal genres are fucking stupid.
Yeah. So again, Rhapsody. Here again, I've chosen something because of the atmosphere, because of where it takes me.
Every atmosphere, from the packaging on the CDs, which look like D&D, like Dragonlance and Forgotten Realms novels.
Yeah.
All the way down to the fucking all the music.
And the titles too, particularly. This one is called Warrior of Ice.
That's a good.
I'm sorry.
Is that off
Warrior of Ice?
Is that off Dawn of Victories?
That is Legendary Tales.
Legendary Tales.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Legendary Tales. Yeah. No,
what he said.
Yeah.
Definitely not. I have a lot of favorite songs on that particular album.
Yeah.
The first one I ever heard was Land of Immortals.
That's such a great tune.
That was my intro to Rhapsody, and it's so fucking good. And you couldn't ask for a band that just embodies that like symphonic power metal fucking vibe more than Rhapsody.
Yeah, I mean they did a concept album with the Prague Philharmonic, and narration and sung vocals with Christopher fucking Lee. I mean,
and prompted Christopher Lee to put out 2 metal albums in his goddamn 90s.
Yeah, he was 86 when he decided to do the first one.
The fuck ever.
I mean,
it was about Charlemagne.
Yeah, and it was.
It's all right.
It was Christopher Lee.
It was Christopher Lee.
It was Christopher Lee, and it was.
It's Dracula on a metal album talking about Charlemagne.
It was epic, and it was big, and it was
Christopher Lee.
Yeah, but
it's the voice of Sauron.
You're trying to keep me from saying what's coming, aren't you?
Do it, bring it.
It wasn't all that great.
It wasn't.
Don't hurt me.
It wasn't all that great.
No, I mean, okay, all right. Musically, it was fantastic. They had some great talent on it, and they had Christopher Lee. But
the man can narrate like nobody's business.
The metal parts, they felt kind of tacked on. I would almost rather they have on the Charlemagne album. I would almost rather they had skipped the metal elements and just done a symphonic album, just done a soundtrack album, because the metallic bits, it's just like, oh, now all of a sudden there's Manowar's rhythm section. I mean, it wasn't actually Manowar's rhythm section, but it sounded so much like them. They had the big Joey DeMaio overdriven bass and the really big ticky bass drums.
Let's be really fucking clear right here. He likes Man of War. I do not.
Okay, I'll stop now. Yeah, again, I would rather they had just gone with that. But anyway, back to Rhapsody. This is a big, bombastic song about mighty warriors and freeing your land from the tyranny of you know, the big bad or whatever.
I'm not sure, but a lot of their albums are concept records, so
yeah.
There's a good shot that they were trying to free that from the Land of Immortals or bring it back to the land. I don't know.
Was it the first 5 or the first 6 that they call the Algord Chronicles? I mean, it was
5 or 6. It's somewhere in there.
It was the first. It was a concept story, which is actually why they split into like 17 different bands that all share some variation of the name Rhapsody. You've got Rhapsody of Fire and Rhapsody. You know, I think it's called Rhapsody Nexus, that Luca and Fabio got back together with. There was Rhapsody of Fire for a while that had
And they all
Yeah.
sound the same.
They all sound pretty much the same.
I mean, it's epic, and you get a lot of material, but it all sounds
Yeah.
the same.
I mean, it's the thing about Rhapsody is sometimes they can be a bit of overload. Are you with me there? Just
That's a fucking understatement. I mean,
Yeah.
there are some bands that you can listen to and it just hits the spot, and then there's other bands that take your senses and put them into a coffee grinder and make a French roast out of them.
Rhapsody is one of those bands.
Rhapsody is one of those bands.
Yeah. But so this is.
You know what? I have to decompress my brain. Next on the list is Fawn,
Fawn.
German neo-pagan, and the song that I picked for this is my German sucks. So all you German fiends that are watching this, please don't murder me in my sleep over this. But it's Federkleid. Federkleid. I probably don't have enough phlegm coming out from this.
Federkleid.
Yeah, something like that.
Something.
It's a really good song. It's off their newest record, Midgard, so it's very, very Asatru based because
Yeah.
fucking Vikings are so goddamn popular right now. I'm sure the record label's like, that's fantastic music. Write Viking lyrics for the whole goddamn thing.
Yeah. Can this be about Vikings? Yeah.
Exactly. You know what? Maybe that. All you horror punk guys, just write me a horror punk Viking album. Like dead Viking zombies.
Do it. Do it. I'm telling you.
It'll be amazing.
It will kick so much ass.
And it'll sell because it has Vikings. It's like the 80s and ninjas.
Yeah, for real.
Like
for
everything
real.
had ninjas in it. So in this case, everything's got fucking Vikings in it. Let's do that.
Yeah, I mean, and I think everybody's kind of getting over zombies. So I mean,
Zombies were so the aughts.
Yeah,
Now
I
it's
mean-
all Vikings.
yeah, I mean, okay, and I know, I'm treading on dangerous ground here, you know, with a horror punk audience saying people are over zombies, but okay,
No, to be okay, yeah, you motherfuckers are definitely not over zombies.
okay, no,
But we don't.
You guys don't. You guys are okay, but the oversaturation of zombie content in the media there for a while. It seems like every video game was about zombies. The
It's
Walking
true.
Dead,
Board games.
board games. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, the horror punk, the horror punk scene in general, we don't overuse zombies. There's a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, and then there's the crossover zombies and video games where like the Coffin Caddies who did the song
Yeah.
"Zombies Ate My Neighbors" based
Uh-huh.
off the video game, killer fucking track too.
Well, how can you have horror movies without some discussion of the undead?
The man makes a valid point.
What do you guys think? Have I sufficiently dug my way out of that hole? Leave it in the comments below.
Well, if there's anything we're good at, it's digging graves.
What's next?
yeah. Okay, Fawn's fantastic. It fits the atmosphere perfectly.
That it does.
What do we got next?
Okay, next let's do a little jazz fusion because why not? I've got the song "Sorceress" by the band Return to Forever, which was a 70s.
Now was Chick Corea in that?
Chick Corea was in that. It was kind of the precursor to the Electric Band.
Okay, so we're talking 70s prog mixed with 70s jazz. This
Yeah.
is some whole other over here shit compared to what we're normally used to talking about on here.
Yeah.
But Return to Forever is really goddamn good.
Yeah, it was Chick Corea, who's one of the finest jazz musicians of all time. Actually, one of the finest musicians of all time.
And everyone has his fucking records. I don't care. It's like those
Yeah.
fucking chipmunk Christmas records that somehow you end up with.
Yeah,
Like you're
yeah.
just issued.
Yeah.
Like Herb Albert and Chick Corea records are just fucking issued to people.
Yeah,
Like you
issued-
somehow just
yeah.
wind up with Herb Albert's Tijuana Brass,
Yeah,
fucking whipped
yeah.
cream, that girl in the tub of whipped cream.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
end up with that, and you end up with some kind of fucking, or there's Herb Albert and Tijuana Brass, and then
Yeah.
some kind of Chick Corea album.
Yeah.
Like you just have them.
Yeah, you have them lying around. But I mean, he's so great. And then we had Al Di Meola on guitar. Seriously, he was the precursor to guys like Yngwie Malmsteen and Paul Gilbert. The serious guitar shredders owe a major debt to Al's playing.
They do.
He was really big into flamenco, but he was like shredding on a Les Paul through Marshall stack.
Which always rules.
Oh, of course. Stanley Clarke on the bass, who was like major innovator. It's slap bass. That was really kind of his baby. And then Lenny White on the drums, a really respected jazz drummer.
It's a hell of a lineup.
And the music,
they were like one of the not first super groups, but definitely one of the more prominent super groups. Because the super group thing really started with Cream. To a certain extent. I mean, I guess
the first one I can think of.
Yeah, they're the first one. I'm sure there might have been super groups before that, but then you had Cream, and then really Emerson, Lake and Palmer. That was kind of like a super group, and then
lots of them in the '70s. It was kind of the Blind Faith.
Who did Neil Young join up?
Asia, and Crosby, Stills and Nash, and
Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing. Those were all super groups, and then Return to Forever comes along, and surprise, like they were one of the few that didn't put their goddamn names right in the front.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and this track is called Sorceress,
Ooh.
and it's off of an album called Romantic Warrior, and the cover has looks like a kind of a modernist painting of a knight in like Gothic plate mail.
You'll be seeing all the if you haven't noticed already, all the album covers will be right here.
Yeah, great. Because you gotta see this to understand. The tune itself is very dark. It's and I don't mean like gloomy dark, but just sort of mysterious dark. It's kind of otherworldly sounding. Lots of fills everywhere. It really builds to a pretty heavy climax.
It's that kind of song that you would you could easily picture it in like a cartoon like Heavy Metal.
Yeah.
Like if you ever read the Heavy Metal comic book, like it would be one of those songs that would be a really good soundtrack to one of the more sword and sorcery kind of comics within.
Yeah. Or like the ending credits to a Ralph Bakshi movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So it's sort of pseudo Arthurian source material.
Fun story. I got turned on to Return to Forever in maybe 2000. Well, it'd been at least 2005. It was 2005. Okay. By an ex-pro surfer who was the head librarian at the college that I went and worked at.
And that I still work at.
And he still works at. And we were allowed to bring in music. He encouraged us to bring in tunes. So he would get sick of me bringing in Blitzkid and the Misfits. But this was 05, so I had 5 options for horror punk at the time. And I would bring in stuff like Frontline Assembly and shit like that. And I started getting into oddball prog because I was in this psychedelic kind of proggy punk band at the time, and I was discovering stuff like Ozric Tentacles, and I was really getting into Hawkwind.
Oh yeah.
And Alan, this guy named Alan, who's he's like, you should listen to Return to Forever, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm over here listening to Ozric Tentacles, which is really tripped out space rock from England, and I put this on. I'm like, ooh, this is interesting.
Yeah. Let's face it, though, it's not a huge leap from Ozric Tentacles to Return to Forever.
No, it's not.
It really isn't. I mean, Return to Forever is far more jazzy.
Yes, they are. And I think that the jazz lends itself to any genre.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely any genre. Because it's just the chord structures do amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
And
even if you're not playing straight jazz or really harmonically complex material, if you understand the concepts behind jazz, it'll lend itself to any musical environment.
Yeah, you'd be surprised what jazz sneaks its way into that you may not even know.
Oh yeah.
I don't like pure jazz. I don't. I don't like pure jazz. I like my jazz mixed. It's kind of like how, you know, some people may not like straight whiskey, but they'll mix that bitch with like some kind of whatever your flavor, you know, Jack and Coke or whatever.
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you haven't listened to the right jazz.
I may not have. I mean, I do like things like Ella Fitzgerald
Yeah.
and stuff like that, but certain, like there's, I like the occasional Miles Davis song, but like,
Yeah.
his freeform pretentious shit that people are like, this is amazing, I'm over here like,
Because it is. Fight me, bro. No, but,
I'd much rather listen to bubblegum pop or garage rock.
well, of course. Of course. You need Take 5.
That's 60s bubblegum pop, motherfuckers.
Yeah. And 80s pop.
Well, and 80s pop music is just some whole other. I think that's more nostalgic than anything.
But you need, before we get too far into the weeds of this, you need Take 5, Dave Brubeck. You need Bitches Brew.
Got it. I have got Bitches Brew, and it just doesn't do it for me.
Okay, then you need Kind of Blue. And then
Yeah, probably.
And
And
then,
I do like Thelonious Monk.
oh yeah. Then you need Smoking at the Half Note.
Okay.
Wes Montgomery.
Do you guys like jazz? Comments. Hit it.
Anyway.
But let's not get
let's
too
move
far
on.
off. You know what? Fuck your jazz bullshit. Black metal. Atmospheric black metal. So we're gonna get that epic adventure feel here.
Yes, let's.
Caladan Brood.
Ooh, good band.
Book of the Fallen. Caladan
Good title.
It is a good title. The whole fucking album's really good. There are a few like atmospheric black metal bands that I fucking wish would put more material out. Gallow Braid being one, Caladan Brood being another. And I believe Caladan Brood, the back of my mind says it's a two-person project, and one of the guys is in Visigoth.
Okay. Let's face it. I mean, most of these bands are like 1 and 2 person operations.
Oh well, yeah. If you
It's
find
like-
a full black metal band, they're probably touring.
It's like one dude who's in 7 projects that are all just him.
There's actually there's rumor in the Dungeon Synth scene that there's one guy behind literally like 7 projects, and
Watch it be like 6 people to do all of it.
like I think one of them's called Celestial Keep, and he's the guy behind that is behind a whole bunch of other bands. But Caladan Brood definitely fits the bill and will give you that like epic journey kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Definitely.
And there's not a whole lot to say about that other than it really augments your D&D session.
Yeah.
So
So we're moving on to.
moving on, it's you.
I think so. We're moving on to some Clannad. And
We're not going to get away from not talking about Enya 85 times in this, are we?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
don't think so. Those
So-
of you who don't know, Enya, the new age queen of the queen of new age music. I'll put it that way.
She bleeds estrogen. It's not a bad thing, but like
she's part of the family that is Clannad.
she is.
The Brennan family.
Yeah,
Paul and Moya and
They're from
Duggan.
Ireland.
Duggan? Is that his name?
I believe so.
Is Duggan the last name of one of the other people?
I honestly don't know. I just know Clannad
Yeah.
has amazing fucking music.
Yeah, they started out as a trad band.
Yeah, they are traditional Celtic Irish music because they're from fucking Cork County,
Yeah.
Ireland. Like they're
yeah.
balls like that. They are playing their traditional local music,
Yeah.
and they grew into so much fucking more.
Yeah, in the '80s when they incorporated pop music into their
They
sound.
did. The band started in the late '60s. By '75, they introduced the little Brennan sibling Enya into it, and she obviously went solo in the mid '80s. But she had 10 years of experience working with her brothers and sisters and other
Yeah.
family members.
Uh-huh.
And by the early '80s, they had morphed into something wholly unique.
Yeah, it was truly a mixture of traditional Irish music and pop.
It was.
It was beautifully produced. The vocals were just layers upon layers upon layers. It's a sound that I still try to emulate when I'm recording vocals. I love it so much.
Yeah, I mean, even on the off chance that we're doing some horror punk stuff, more of that to come.
What's this off chance bullshit?
Okay, well, it's happening. That's besides the point.
I think we just formally announced it.
Yeah, we formally. We'll get onto a formal announcement on
The
that.
cat's out of the bag, folks.
Yeah. But actually, the cat's on your coat. But
hey, that's okay. That's okay. Oh, jeez. so with this song is called Hearn, and it's from the album Legend. And Legend was the soundtrack to a British TV series called Robin of Sherwood. Now this was a
brilliant show.
An absolutely brilliant
Which
show. It's one of the best takes on the Robin Hood story I've seen.
This is no Kevin Costner bullshit.
No, this is it's weird, like mid to low budget.
It has that 80s almost low budget BBC.
Yeah.
80s BBC.
Yeah.
You know that vibe. As soon as I say that, you know that vibe.
No, I mean it was ITV, not BBC, but
it wasn't ITV. I thought it was BBC.
It was ITV.
Yeah. Well, it still has that feel though.
Yeah. And the cool thing about it is it's very off. It feels off. It feels otherworldly. It feels like there's something not quite right about the entire setting. Like there's something lurking around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for this is they incorporate a lot of other English folklore into it.
They do.
Hearn is Hearn the Hunter, who was a character from the folklore of that region.
Absolutely.
In the area there's I think it's called Hearn's Oak. And
which is also a 1476 song that has Goolsby on it.
Nice.
Go listen to that.
Nice.
You get the story. Rob from 1476 is extremely knowledgeable on this subject and wrote a lot of that Wolf's Age album is very pagan in nature.
I'm gonna have to hit this guy up. Because I love his stuff too. But anyway, yeah, it feels very otherworldly. The whole idea is that Hearn the Hunter. He gives Robin Hood the silver arrow, which is an artifact that he needs to use to liberate Locksley from the sheriff, and the sheriff's messing around with black magic, and
it's a fucking good show.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's a really good show.
Oh yeah.
And I say it all the time, when it comes to fantasy on TV and film. The good options we have are extremely high budget and really good. You know, your Game of Thrones, your Lord of the Rings, your Willows, your Legends, but we don't have a lot. Sci-fi, horror, whatever other genre, they got a lot of options. Fantasy, you've either got really high quality that really puts you in the atmosphere, or you have complete and utter shit.
Trapdoor Films. Sorry to bag on those guys. I mean,
you've got your Sci-Fi Channel shitty CGI bullshit.
They mean well, but man, Curse of the Templar was a shitty movie. Wow. I'm sorry. That was.
But you know what?
Oh, that was drag.
That song is a good segue into the next song.
Yes, it is.
So, speaking of good, high quality fantasy movies and hatred of Tom Cruise. Which this is like literally one of like the two movies of his that I actually like, and it's Legend.
Yeah.
The band that did the soundtrack for the North American version of that movie, because for some reason they had a completely different soundtrack for the European version.
Interesting.
Yeah, but Tangerine Dream.
Oh.
The electronic progressive band from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, now.
Love tea.
Yeah, Tangerine Dream's been around for fucking ever, and their sound has just morphed all over the place, and it goes from proggy to scary to atmospheric to almost new agey to soundtrack music. They're fucking all over the place.
Oh yeah.
And in this case, they just wrote a fucking catchy song with the dude from Journey on vocals.
Steve Perry?
Yes.
What?
Yeah. So there's a song called "Love by the Sun"
I gotta see this
by
movie again, 'cause
Tangerine
I don't
Dream.
remember this.
Yeah, Steve Perry does the fucking vocals for it, and you know it's Steve Perry because he has the most oddball phrasings of his lyrics I've ever
He
fucking
really
heard.
does.
Like this song is so corny, but at the same time, it could be nostalgia. Like some younger kid who first sees this and just goes, "What in the shit is this?" and could absolutely hate it. But for me, it's like Steve Perry's weird phrasing on this song. It fits a D&D game so perfectly.
It's pure 80s cinema.
It's pure 80s cinema.
Yeah,
It's absolutely fantastic.
It's not quite a popcorn flick. Not quite. It's a little too serious for that.
A little, but that's what I like about a lot of 80s fantasy, the good stuff. It took itself serious, and you didn't get a lot of that shit D&D humor. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, you do. Don't lie.
Jesse, Joey, Gallimere. You know what I'm fucking talking about. I'm calling you guys out because you're like the meme kings. Yeah, so 80s cinema, pure
80s
cheese,
cinema.
pure cheese. It's amazing.
Tim Curry is the devil.
And yes, it's also a Tim Curry movie, which
Yeah.
just gives it all kinds of fucking like nerd street cred.
Yeah. And Tom Cruise is in it.
But it's his first movie, so he hasn't
Yeah.
become. It's not like a Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah.
Just Tom Cruise happens to be in it.
Now, had he become a Scientologist by that point?
It was 86. I don't even think Scientology. Someone needs to correct me. I don't know, and I'm not going to look it up. But did L. Ron Hubbard write Dianetics in the 80s? I remember seeing it in the late 80s, so he might have written
I think
it.
so.
But I don't know if he was a Scientologist yet.
I don't think he joined the Church of
Church.
LSD and L. Ron Hubbard's ego just yet.
Well, come on. When two science fiction authors get into a bet at a bar who can write a religion, how can anybody fucking join that shit?
Yeah.
Like, it was Arthur C. Clarke and L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron Hubbard obviously won.
Oh, he won that bet big time.
Anyway, what's your next one?
Because Scientology is bullshit. Anyway.
Understatement.
Yep. Almost as hokey as Mormonism. Yes, that's right. I went there.
You want to play some board games?
Moving on. Before I offend anyone else. Let's see. Next, so we're getting to the point in the list where we're getting to the things that have to be on the list because it's this list and it's D&D and it's Blind Guardian.
Everyone knows the fucking
It's
song.
Blind fucking Guardian. Now you all know the bards
Let's sing
and their
the
songs.
Bard song.
Yes. Absolutely.
This is on every D&D playlist ever to be created.
And if it's not, it should be.
In fact, if anyone knows Spoonie from the Spoonie Experiment, his tabletop role-playing show, the fucking theme song is this song.
This is a fantasy tavern song. We've been talking about things that seem like tavern songs. This was written for that specific purpose.
Yeah, and
this is the bard around the fire singing, tales of songs of hobbits, dwarves, and man.
And let's be, Blind Guardian wrote probably 2, 3, possibly 4 albums solely based on Lord of the Rings.
Actually, it was only one, and it was about the Silmarillion.
No, Nightfall, Middle Earth, and wasn't there another one?
No, there were others that.
Okay, well, their shit seems like all of it
Yeah.
was based on Lord of the Rings.
So much so that.
Well, okay, I
Hans-
take that back. Summoning did the same thing.
Well,
Except
yeah.
Summoning's got like 9 albums based on Lord
Summoning
of the
is
Rings.
as the one of the bloggers on what's his metal blogger. I heard him say once. I don't remember his name, but he said that summoning is a protracted exercise in Lord of the Rings worship.
It is.
And he's right. I mean,
It is.
well,
But I think Blind Guardian did it way better.
Back to Blind, yeah, they didn't even do nearly as much. I mean, there's entire interviews where Hansi has to clear up the misconception that they write so much, that they write all their stuff about fantasy. I mean, most of it is based on Stephen King, actually. The overwhelming
Blind
majority
Guardian's
of it-
horror as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, but perfectly honest here, this was written specifically for the purpose of having that vibe. I better drink this tea instead of holding it. I'm using it as a prop. I know that's. Yeah, I mean it's 2 acoustic guitars,
Mm-hmm.
and just Hansi singing about elves and dwarves and hobbits and
It's fantastic.
adventure.
Yeah.
And there's something very melancholy about it as well.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, if I could have an entire album of things in the nature of this song, I'd be beyond happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And you know what? Let's continue that theme
Let's do that very thing.
with... there's going to be pagan metal on this.
Of course.
We come from... I come from horror punk, but I also sideline in all that with a pagan metal band. He was the lead singer of it. That's besides the point. Point is we played with a lot of pagan metal bands. It was part of my life. And us being...
Yeah.
not many people can say that Wolves of Ancestry...
Wolven
Ancestry called you dorks. Which they did with us.
Yeah. You know when you got dudes running around in furs looking like Neddard Stark, or like Eddard Stark, and they call somebody dorks, you know you've got serious nerd cred.
But you can't get pissed when you look down on the on your tour bus's table and there's literally dice, D&D dice sitting there.
Yeah, there were games of Magic the Gathering on that trip.
There were.
It occurred.
It
was a thing.
did occur.
Yes.
But in this case, one band that everyone of us fucking loved is Corpiclani. And there's no, out of all the pagan metal, I think they fit this playlist the best. And
I think so too.
Midsummer Night by Corpiclani.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fucking brilliant fucking song.
Great tune.
And they're just such a fun, bouncy song that have more songs about alcohol than any band I've ever heard, which is saying something.
I mean, other than maybe Tankard.
Touche. Very much touche.
But yeah, them really. I mean, they love a drink every now and again.
Or I guess the Coffin Cats and Nuke and the Living Dead. Any of those fucking Detroit bands, they talk about drinking quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, this song is just, I don't know. Corpiclani, they just have that, pagan dancing and / headbang. You ever try to fucking, Irish dance and headbang at the same time?
I've seen it done.
I have too, I'm just saying.
Yeah, at that very show.
At that very
at
show.
a Corpiclani show. There was a circle pit full of Vikings. You know you're in trouble.
Vikings, horror punk Viking album. Someone
Do
needs
it.
Someone needs to make that shit happen.
Do that. Do it. I want to hear it. And
my
I know
God.
damn good and well he wants to hear it.
Fuck, I'll play bass on it. Someone make that shit happen.
I've already done the Viking thing in my musical life. I'd say we should do it, but we already did that. So somebody else do
It'd be
it.
derivative.
Yeah. Oh, you're just copying Mario. You just want to live in the fuck off. Anyway.
Moving
Anything
old
else you-
past glories. Midlife crisis! Midlife crisis!
Oh no! Oh man.
Anyway.
Anything else you want to say about it?
No, but speaking of midlife crisis is what you got.
Oh boy. Well, yes. Speaking of midlife crisis, I've got.
Guess who's popular now? And
I gotta rep my boys. I'm a huge Ghost fan.
Ghost.
I know all you horror rockers are sitting there laughing at me. Call me.
Now
a
lot of those motherfuckers I've seen going to Ghost shows.
Oh, okay.
I know
Okay,
half you
okay,
bastards in
all right.
Indianapolis were at that Ghost show.
Oh well, then I probably saw some of you because I was there too. But,
See?
Yeah. You know this the tune I chose is Helvetet. Let's see if I can get my Swedish right. Helvetes Fönster.
Wow,
from
that's
the
impressive.
from the new album Prequel, which is about the plague, which is super cool. Not that the plague is cool, but like the medieval history aspect of it. You know, wiping out the population of an entire continent.
Dude, horror punk, we deal in death daily.
Okay, all right.
Just saying.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yes, it is super cool.
Okay. All right. So I dug myself out of that hole too. Gotcha. All right.
You rose from the grave.
Topical. Anyway. So this is an instrumental. It definitely has that ghost sound, that very late '70s hard rock meets 60s psychedelic rock.
Now, which
kind
album
of
is
spooky thing.
Which album is this off of?
It's off Prequel, the newest album.
Okay, so fun fact, I have not heard the new album because like that. I have the first Ghost record. It's good. It didn't wow me.
It's good.
It didn't wow me. So I just never got around to picking anything else up. And then the new record came out, and everybody's fucking blowing their shit about it like it's the fucking second coming of Dio.
It's been nominated for 2 Grammys.
Okay, so maybe I should pick it up.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
He's planning a musical.
Of course he is.
He's planning a musical, major stage show, new album. Anyway, back to the song. It's an instrumental. It definitely has that ghost sound, but it also has a little tinge of like medieval village, like fantasy, Legend of Zelda sounding stuff as well. And that struck me because that's not something that this band typically does. I mean, they're definitely more along the lines of the riffy, spooky, hard rock metal kind of stuff. You know, Merciful Fate meets Dio meets The Doors, that sort of thing. But this sounds kind of almost Ren Fair sounding.
Okay.
In addition to this, the very the keyboards and riffs, ghost rock.
I can dig it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a listen. I've got the vinyl. I'll let you borrow it sometime.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Bring it. Yeah. I'm all about it. And I mean, as long as it augments that D&D vibe.
It felt that way when I was listening to it. Caroline had the record on. Had the record on in the kitchen the other day.
That would be his wife.
Yeah. We've got because we have a record player in our kitchen. Why not?
Dinner and vinyl.
Yes.
That'd be a good name for a show.
Dinner and
vinyl.
Yeah.
Okay, so my last pick for the 20, and I have a bonus round here, but we'll get to that in a minute. My last pick for this playlist is from a video game. A very old video game. Well, I guess old now, doesn't feel that old.
Totally appropriate.
From 1999, there was a game called Darkstone. Medieval fantasy. It was like a Diablo clone. But when you're in the main village, you can pay a bard who's right by a well to play a song, and it was this by an artist called Audrey. Full on, like they just stuck one of her songs in this, and it's called "The Darkstone Will Shine," and I was obsessed with this fucking song, and I don't know, like if you didn't hear it in context with the medieval setting, you may not get the vibe. But I got the vibe.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
I need to play this game. I mean, I'm definitely a Diablo fan. You know.
Diablo fanatics. As soon as Diablo 4 comes out, there won't be videos up for like an entire year. Either that or I'll stream all of it.
We gave Blizzard our early 20s. That company owns that part of our lives. Between Diablo and StarCraft and Warcraft.
What did we do? We toured and played Diablo.
Yes. Yes.
That was our 20s.
Yep. Touring, playing Diablo, playing the occasional tabletop game.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Well, let's move on to the bonus round.
Yeah.
Because I'm not leaving you guys without trying to come up with some horror punk and horror rock songs for this playlist. And this was kind of I racked my brain on this one. So these may not be completely appropriate, but I think they're kind of funny.
Okay, let's.
Okay, first of all,
Alan Z.
Blitzkid, Evil Hand. Yeah, Blitzkid's butt rock song. So, go way back to Terrifying Tales. And it is like, it's not your My Bloody Valentine, it's not your Pretty in a Casket, fuck, it's not even The Hills Have Eyes. It's like the one song, I remember they probably stopped playing in 01 or 02. But I kind of, like, for a tabletop game, I kind of feel it.
It has cowbell.
It has cowbell. It's kind of awesome.
I mean, yeah, it's got like, it almost.
With your evil hand.
You're gonna punch me across the room when I say this. Pick me up and throw me across over the camera table, but it almost has a Kiss vibe.
I fucking hate Kiss. Yes, bring the hate on for that. I fucking want to say this all the time. I hate Kiss. Hate Kiss.
It's something that I could hear Gene or Paul singing, because and the riff definitely is like, it's straight out of that like 70s like cock rock kind of thing.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
Very much kind of is.
So
yeah, I don't know.
What
But moving on this list, we got
Get it out of that one. Okay.
The Spook. Germany's Spook with Mantula. I mean, there's not enough songs on here about big creepy creatures. And Mantula definitely fits that fucking bill. Because that's the one thing horror punk does, we talk about monsters. So why not bring in some, like, something you could easily see a D&D group just beating the shit out of. And that's Mantula. Mm-hmm. And it's got a good sing-along kind of vibe going on with it. I mean, it's horror punk. We like melodic.
Yeah.
And next, Mumula. Of course Mumula is going to make this list because Eric and John. No, really the whole fucking band. Nerds, I love you guys. But in this case, Pumpkin Zone, which is heavily inspired by the fucking the Halloween stage in Mario 2 and the 6 Golden Coins on Game Boy. Yeah.
As I recall, it's the music from it set to
Whatever, what Mumula does.
yeah.
And fucking killer song. Next, we have Darkest of the Hillside Thickets with Going Down to Dunwich.
Love that band.
Darkest of the Hillside Thickets is like one of the unsung heroes of fucking horror rock. And I think it's because they're just H.P. Lovecraft based.
And I didn't even think of them as being part of that scene.
They're not.
Until
They're not really. They were just kind of, like, when you would search for, like, spooky horror music, mm-hmm. they would always pop up on this. It's kind of like Balsagoth with epic power metal.
Yeah.
Like,
they're not really a power metal band at all, but they show up in that scene because of their lyrics and the fact that it's all orchestral and
exactly
big and wizardy.
Exactly. And Darkest of the Hillside Thickets are fucking amazing.
Yes, they are.
And they're just nerdy and they're all over the place, and it's all just H.P. Lovecraft in your face.
Oh yeah.
Shoggoths and oh my god.
I spent an entire vacation listening to almost nothing but The Shadow Out of Tin. That's such a fantastic album.
I believe Tony agrees with you on saying that is a classic fucking record.
Oh yeah. The riffs.
I have it. It's a fucking brilliant album. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying, like, there's multiple people out there that I know personally that are like, that album's amazing.
They almost kind of remind me of Bad Religion in a way.
Oh, they have some melodic moments like that.
But not quite. And then there's the whole Lovecraft thing.
True. And my fifth rapid fire, which these aren't that rapid fire, would be a smaller Connecticut-based horror punk band, the Theater Zombies, which I'll get into more videos on them at some point in the future. But in this case, it's Return to Demon Castle. the cover art for this album is just a straight homage to Castlevania 3 on NES.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the only way I can describe this band is they feel like a band that should have been highlighted on Buffy the Vampire Slayer in like '97.
I concur. Yeah, they definitely have that vibe. Brings back memories.
A lot of good memories. They're a really good, catchy ass band, but this tune in particular could easily fit on a horror punk D&D kind of playlist.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I got. That is the playlist. We've been rambling for a long ass time.
Yeah.
So, give us your playlist ideas. What did we leave off? What did you like? What did you not like?
Yeah.
Tell us if you like this, me and Nate thing going on, because I think we're gonna plan on maybe doing more of these in the future.
Yeah, I'd love to do more playlists and
A definite good time.
yeah, for sure.
But you know what? We've been rambling, so we're gonna get out of here. Like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff, and let's hope for a better 2019.
Here, here.
I will see you next time on the Midnight Chamber.